Ladies and gentlemen, the day after the capitulation, let's get on with this.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. I got my bad boy Ryan Gunners back again. It's good to have him back. I feel like we'll have a good therapeutic session, and I'm sure everyone that's watching right now will have a good therapeutic session as well. And we'll try and make some sense out of what has happened. For me, it's a blip. I don't necessarily think we should see that level of crazy defending again, because one thing that we're good at is defending. But we'll see. We'll see what Ryan has to say. Ryan, first of all, my man, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. I remember in your intro you just said it's the day after. Well, my friend, it's the same night for me, so I'm still feeling it. I didn't even get to sleep on it, bro. So I'm still here feeling the effects of a 4-1 L. After that 4-1 L, I took off the match 5 minutes early and switched it to IPL. And then my team in IPL got an L too, so I just collected 2 L's today in a row.
So, you're collecting the L's, man. Yeah. It's good. It's time to go to bed, bro. It's time to go to bed.
Nah, well, I mean, I'd rather collect the L's now, so Wednesday we get a W. But yeah, I'm good, bro.
Good stuff, man. At least we're gonna do the Barcelona watch along, and hopefully Barcelona gets a W for you. You know, your
for me, yeah,
your real team underneath.
for us.
Keep that on the low. Ryan, let's get on this. Get on to talk about this particular match. Yeah, we had a banging start. Start to the second half, a screamer from Rudiger. We all were saying, I was doing the watch along, and I was like, we've all been saying one of these days Rudy's going to score one like that, and he did. And honestly, Ryan, I did not see that capitulation in the way we did after that. Like, the way I saw that match was we weren't good the first 15 minutes in the first half. Then we kind of controlled the match, but when I say control, I'm not talking about we were threatening. We just control in the sense that we didn't allow them to do anything after, but we didn't do anything either. It was really just a Hakim Ziyech shot that got saved. Second half, it looked like we had a lot more intent. We wanted to press from the front. We wanted to win the ball from the front. Then we got the Rudiger goal. And after that, Brian, I really thought this is it. We're going to now shut up shop. I want you to explain to me what took place after that, because that was very uncharacteristic of us.
Let's bring that board in, bro. Bring that board in, bro.
Bring it in.
We start with a 4-1-4-1 or 4-3-3, whichever way you like to say it. But I found our wingers started deeper, so I'll say 4-1-4-1. And they lined up in a 5-3-2. They defended in a 5-3-2. And but let's talk about defensively first, Miz, because I mean, defensively we'll end it on attack. We'll get into some players on our attack, but let's get into defense, because after all, we lost 4-1. So Miz, one thing I realized with our defense is that in modern football, people stress and love pressing high. They love to press high, win the ball up the pitch, and they seem as if they'll do it regardless of its consequences. You know what I mean? I think to press perfectly, you have to ensure that when you press players forward, that you cover the gaps there is in midfield and defense. If not, pressing high could be your biggest detriment to your play. And that is exactly what happened to us today. We pressed, even though we lined up in a 4-1-4-1, as you can see here, we pressed with our front three, right? And when we pressed with our front three, we switched to a 3-4-3 in defense, in press. So what we saw is that we went back to our usual back three, and Ziyech acted as a makeshift wing back together with Alonso, who sometimes plays like a makeshift wing back, but he is a real wing back. But so we pressed with our front three. what we saw was Mount would press high, and this front three would roam, and but they kept a front three. And we saw here that it was a 3-4-3. What happened from the get-go is that you can see that defensively for Brentford's three CBs, they were matched up completely with our front three, right, Miss? Their wing backs were matched up 1v1 with our wing backs. But where we really struggled, Miss, was that midfield. We were completely outnumbered 3v2 in midfield. And what happened is that we didn't defend in a line of two. Kante would press forward and mark the CDM because they don't want this ball to go there, right? So Kante would get up, and sometimes Loftus-Cheek, but they would be more vertical, our two sixes, right? And what would happen here is that these two wide CMs would be completely free in a 2v1 situation against our lone CDM, right? Are you seeing that unfold here?
Yep, 100%.
2v1 here with Loftus-Cheek. And why it's so... Why... Yeah, people would say it's only 3v2. You shouldn't be exposed this much. You know why it hurts so much? Because in a 5-3-2, as what Brentford has, those wide central midfielders are the free man in attack. You know how in past videos we always talk about the free man in attack? Well, these wide midfielders are usually the free man in attack who would drop centrally. They would get wide. They would
So you're
get
talking
forward.
about Embuemo, and the other guy on that side was probably Janelt, maybe? Or Christensen, maybe it's Christian. Sorry, Eriksen.
Eriksen was on the side, I think. Right?
Yeah.
And
I think Embuemo was on that side. The guy you're hovering, I think it was Embuemo.
Yeah. And these guys...
Maybe you're right. Maybe it was Eriksen.
Maybe it was Eriksen was on the side, yeah. But this guy was completely free. They were completely free to roam. They were 2v1 against Loftus-Cheek. And what they got to do is that they got to play medium to long passes towards this zone here. Medium to long passes towards this zone. Once the ball reached this zone, they had numerical superiority against Loftus-Cheek. Kante was too forward. He had to get back. He could make a big impact defensively. And they won the second ball here. Immediately, you'd see that this midfielder would turn into a makeshift inside forward / winger. Because as I said, this wide midfielder is like the Barella role, is that wide CM who is that free man. And that's what Eriksen did today to us. And what you would see unfold when this happens is that there would be a 2v1 situation against our wide CB.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why our wide CB looks so exposed without help from our wing back, without help from Kante or Loftus-Cheek. And then all of a sudden, all these players would get forward and we would be defensively vulnerable. The same thing would happen on the other side also. That 2v1 situation would happen against Azpilicueta, and Ziyech would be pushed forward and we would be very exposed. And that's what caused the goal with Eriksen, who scored. That same situation at 2v1 here that eventually went to Eriksen and he scored. All right. I mean, let's just sideline how good it is to see Eriksen back. It brought a smile to my face for 5 seconds, and then I was angry again. But yeah, man, it's good to see him back. But yeah, that's exactly why we were defensively vulnerable, Miz. And it really was odd to me. Why do sometimes in matches we insist to press high with our front three, and in other matches we would press high with our front one? Why did it change today? Because if we stick with our 4-1-4-1 formation, right, Miz? Which is basically like a 4-5-1 if you think about it, right? If you would stick with a 4-5-1, 4-1-4-1, whatever you want to call it, in defense, what would happen is that we would have man-marked every single one of Brentford's midfield players here, right? Plus, we would have outnumbered their front two, right? Completely.
That's the thing. We would have outnumbered them. That's the thing. And I felt like, yeah, we didn't outnumber them. And they far too many times, it just looked like it was 3v3, 2v2. It's a bit wild.
Exactly. If we keep this a 4-5-1, right, like this, right, we would have completely, even if the three CBs had the ball, right, and only Kai was pressing, where are they going to pass? They are completely man-marked and they are completely man-marked here, right? And then these
so
two,
even if they go long, they got nowhere to go, and if they go short, they're really going nowhere.
if they go short, they're completely man-marked, and if they go long, they have Alonso and Aspi as two free sweepers who could be anywhere needed to sweep that ball up. And we would have come, and what would have happened? We would have made interceptions around these areas, which is still high up the pitch, and we could have countered them. We could have got in behind, make their back three vulnerable, and we could have won. I'm not saying we're setting up the counter against Brentford. No, we would still keep possession for most of the game, but defensively, we would have been more smart to match up numerically. And it doesn't need to be only a 4-5-1. It could be a 5. We could have matched up 5-3-2 anyway, or 4-3-3, but for some reason we let them get inroads to our midfield. We were completely outnumbered, and
Why do you think Tuchel would have opted for the 3-man press? Was he thinking, let's try and win the ball up front when they're trying to build up? Like, was he thinking they're not good enough to build up?
Yeah, maybe. I can't say what Tuchel was thinking, but I know it was on purpose, because for Ziyech to be back here and Mount to be up here, even though Ziyech started on the wing, I knew it was on purpose, because you don't make a 3-4-3 from a 4-3-3 by mistake. That doesn't happen by mistake. That happens on purpose. And eventually you saw with the changes of regimes and stuff, we end up moving to a 5-3-2.
Yeah.
Or 3-5-2. And we did look better, but
that damage was done by then.
Yeah, so too late.
It was too late. At that time, it was us chasing the game, and it was way too erratic in defense. Would you say? I mean, this is a fantastic explanation what you've said when we were without the ball defending, obviously, and tactically we got undone the way we wanted to press. But would you also say some of the defending that we did was very shambolic, or would you put that down to the fact that that kind of defending happens because of the improper structure that we had? Like, I don't want to go into the whole Lampard days where we were blaming players for individual mistakes. At the end of the day, it felt like that individual mistake was a culmination of a bad structure. How did you see some of the mistakes? Because their equalizer, okay, very good finish from Janelt, but once again, I felt like Ruben Loftus-Cheek was ball watching. Thiago Silva was sort of caught out of position, and then all of a sudden it was a 2v2 with Rudiger and Azpilicueta and Janelt with a fantastic finish. The second one, Hakim Ziyech, the area where you have Ziyech right now in the screen, it was off the set piece. He loses the ball, and then there was 3 players that got dragged into MOMO and left Eriksen completely unmarked. Like, I felt like, where's the communication that one should just go towards Eriksen to intercept that pass? And then obviously for the 4th goal, Rudiger, that was just, first of all, Mason Mount got absolutely outpowered by the Brentford player with the first ball coming in, and then the second ball, Rudiger didn't clear that out, and then it was chaos. Do you feel it was down to individual errors, or do you think it was a manifestation of the bad structure that we had for that?
I think it was a mixture of both. You can see for set pieces, we felt a bit vulnerable at the back. We saw those individual mistakes at the end of the day, and then we saw the structure, how it got Eriksen and all these guys in numerical advantages position. So it's a mixture of the 3, which resulted in us losing by 3 goals. So at the end of the day, as you said, I know you asked earlier if it's Tuchel that told them to press high, but at the end of the day, no matter what Tuchel says, really, that I think in football games, a midfield 3 changes to a midfield 2, sometimes to a 1, sometimes it changes all the time. Your manager isn't going to be there during the game to tell you, hey, yo, change formation, change. No, I think there needs to be some football intelligence. Football intelligence to read the game and realize, listen, we're getting run through that midfield. Somebody needs to drop in, cover that position more. And we just didn't seem to do that until Tuchel made changes, and it wasn't very good, man.
No, you're right, man. And I feel like defensively, I'm taking it as a blip, and I'm hoping that, because that level of shambolic defending I've not seen since West Brom last season. So,
but you know what's not a blip?
The attack.
Yep, the good segue.
This is what I want to talk about now with you, and this is what I really want to focus about, because let's be honest, we're going to talk about some individual performances and defending, as you've very well highlighted, the numerical advantage. Ruben Loftus-Cheek had no idea what he was doing as well defensively. I think Kante had no idea as well.
Why was Kante playing on the left?
I don't know, man. He was so ineffective, both with and without the ball. But now that the way you've demonstrated, I could see why they were ineffective, because we were always outnumbered. That's why it was so easy for them to always rip through our midfield, and then, hello, boys, to the defense. Let's talk about the attack, Ryan. This has been my issue, and it's something that you highlighted a few shows ago. And I remember we had a bit of a session about Thomas Tuchel. We were a bit upset. We got a bit of stick as well from the comments. People were having a go at us while we're having a go at Thomas Tuchel. But I think we need to talk about this, because some of our recent wins, I feel like they've been quite jammy wins. We've been saved by Kai Havertz. Jammy. My biggest issue, and I want you to tactically break this down for me, is, Ryan, we don't create top quality, like I'm talking about big quality chances. The one that I can clearly remember was the Kovacic brilliant through ball. Kai Havertz, that's your bread and butter. You need to put that away, but I'm not going to be too...
But even with that was like a mistake from Brentford too. It wasn't that we just created that chance out of nowhere and we worked our way and build up. No, that was just a gift we got.
And it was a counter from Kova, of a gift, as you said, and then he broke through the middle and then slipped the ball through. But besides that, I kid you not, a few people were saying, "Oh, what about the Timo Werner chance?" Look, any time the ball falls into Timo Werner, I don't look that as a...
Prefer not to speak.
Prefer not to speak. Like anything that falls to Timo, clear-cut chance, whatever. Like, I don't even think he's a footballer. I don't know how this is materialized. I don't know how we are in 2022 and this guy's a footballer. And there was a Hakim Ziyech shot that I said first half, but once again, fell to his lap, and then he cut in and he took a shot. But yeah, talk to me, bro. I just don't like the way we don't seem to have a attacking philosophy. We don't seem to have an attacking identity.
Yeah, I mean, well, firstly, let's just skip. I could have go into the intricacies of how we reached Brentford's low block.
Man, he's so fed up. Man, he's so fed up. Let's just skip. Let's just get to the main point.
Now, because I'll just, long story short, in our 4-3-3, we set up in a 2-3-5, like what Man City does with the inverted wing backs, and it allowed our wing backs to have freedom to roam forward into Brentford's half until we arrived at this low block, which is where we can't seem to create chances for 8 months, and
for 8 years.
I mean, it could as well be 8 years. I can't, even under past managers, I don't remember us playing position-based football. But let me just put back on normal formation, because we didn't really attack with our back three. So let me just bear with me here.
I'll bear with you, bro. If I can bear with Chelsea, I'll definitely bear with you.
Yeah, thanks.
Standards really low these days.
Yep. Okay, so good. This is the 5-3-2. They set up in a low block, right? For many instances. As you can see, what we did is that once the ball was driven on by Alonso, right? He got into space into these areas. What we'd do is that we would set up a rotating triangle. How many times are we going to talk about this? But this rotating triangle, what it does, it allows us to get in behind and send crosses in behind. Simple as that. So what we'd see is that these three players would rotate to get in behind and eventually send crosses in. What would happen is that since the aim of the game is to send crosses in, Mason Mount in this aspect was in the box, our other central midfielder, right? On the other side, sometimes it was Kante going in the box, right?
Yeah, correct. No, my son's just popped in. Yeah, continue, bro.
Yeah. So Mason Mount would get into the box, right? And then what we see many times that Ziyech would keep the width for the switch of play. Aspilicueta would act as an inverted wing back, but he wouldn't get into these zones. He would stay here for defensive cover, and this is how our attacking shape would be, right? Basically, this. From the get-go, we could see a problem. Yes, even though we could get in behind and send crosses, this attacking philosophy is too one-dimensional.
Yep.
Way too one-dimensional.
Do you know the whole match? Just before you continue on the one-dimensional factor, the entire match, I was telling the live chat in my watch along, is so predictable. Like you can tell you can tell what's going to happen next. Like it's too easy for Brentford to know what Chelsea's about to do all the time.
Yeah. So you see this 2-3-5, right? So that's kind of Man City like attack, right? What you'd see is that it's too predictable, and even in this rotating triangle, what you'd see is many times we would have two runners, right? And one ball player in our attacking triangle. And what this does is that if you look closely, you'd see it's just like a horizontal line that everybody is in. What that does is that it leaves, see these spaces between the lines here? It's completely empty, right? Unoccupied by Chelsea's players, right? What that gives the midfielders liberty to do? They say, well, all right, you're not gonna come there. Well, let's just overload more and win the ball. Right?
So true. So true.
Let's just overload
it
more.
It kind of changed in the second half, though. I saw there was a lot more impetus to try and go through in the middle. But
yeah, I'll get to that.
Right.
I'll get to that. Yeah. That was a tactical change by Tuchel, actually. Let's just go to a normal team, right? A normal good team. A normal good team. Okay, let's go. Let's say our team who plays the system. Who plays a 4-3-3. So let's say Man City and Barcelona right now at the moment. How they would set up their 2-3-5. Or what they would do is that they would usually have one player at the edge of the box and a second player at the edge of the box, and with their opposite fullback keeping the width, right? So we won't have two fullbacks being inverted. We'll kind of have an extra body up front. Yeah. What you'd see here now is that we would still have that line, that horizontal line. So if we want, we could still play through and send crosses. We could still play long and switch it. But what we have is that once we get inroads here, we have the option to also go between the lines.
Between the lines, yeah.
Gain inroads. Once the ball has reached here, the amount of combinations you could have once that ball reaches Kante, which I wouldn't want Kante here, but for this game we had, let's just use an example. He could now play it in behind, he could play off Kai, he could hit it to Ziyech, who could switch play, who could send in crosses. There could be a bunch of opportunities via medium and short passes. Yeah. All of a sudden here you see, instead of our one question we're asking 2 and 3 questions now.
The permutations of the different options, it's just there's a lot. Like as you said, he could go Werner, he could go, I mean, we'll talk about the individuals as well. Yeah. As Ryan well spotted. And this is the reason, and I've been saying it so many times on the channel, and people still get so gassed about, Kante must. I've said it. Whenever there's a low block, I don't want to see Kante. See, ladies and gentlemen, see where Ryan has Kante placed? That's KDB for Man City.
That's Pedri.
That's like we are expecting Kante to do Pedri level of work and KDB level of work. Like it's just anyway. Just continue, bro.
But look at this setup, right? When you have two players at the edge of the box, right? We already talked about asking 1 question, 2 and 3 questions, right? But the 4th question you could also ask from this position is crosses into the box from this. Yeah. Because why? Because even if you lose the ball here, you have 2 players on the edge of the box to counter press and win it and continue that attack. Normally, when
did you get to watch the Liverpool match yesterday?
No.
It was Joe Gomez. See where you've got Aspie?
Yeah.
Joe Gomez was there, a little bit deeper, not all the way up, just slightly up, a little bit.
She said.
And he literally whipped in across from there, and he found Jota, who's not the most tallest player for Liverpool, and Jota, brilliant header in between two defenders, completely open.
And that's why you need to ask that question. But the thing is, when you line up in a line of 5, like what we did today, is that what happens is that when you send those crosses, you're left vulnerable, because once they win that ball, nobody is here to win that second ball because we have no players in between the lines. So then we would be defensively vulnerable to the counter again. That's why, for attacking reasons, it's important to have these two players here, but also for long balls too, but to also win back that counter press. That's why Barcelona and City are so good at winning back the ball when they lose it up front, because they counter press deeply. How on earth are we going to counter press if we have a line of 5 like this? Who's counter pressing here? Nobody. They have direct.
How did we concede? How did we concede yesterday? That same lineup, I remember the Christian Eriksen goal, Mason Mount is where you have Ziyech at the moment. He was trying to whip in crosses after crosses after crosses, and it was all lined up that way. And then off the back of the clearance, they won the second ball. Brentford won the second ball. And then they countered via Mbuemo and scored the goal. They won the ball from Ziyech, who was in that Azpilicueta position where you've got right now. It's rightly said. Every time the ball comes into that zone where you have the ball right now, it was always Brentford players. There was never any Chelsea players there because we were too busy to be in the box.
Amez, we tried to fix that. I saw Tuchel try to fix that. As you said, you saw it in the second half when it was too late in the last 20 minutes of the game. We changed our back 3. We changed our 5-3, 3-5-2 or 5-3-2. And what we saw was, let's just pretend Ziyech was left wing back, actually. Reece James instead of Alonso. I'm not going to change it because we still have some illustrations to do with these guys, with Alonso and these guys. But pretend Reece James was right wing back here. Ziyech was left wing back. We had Kai and
Lukaku up front.
Yeah, let's just pretend Loftus-Cheek was Lukaku. And I know I'm doing our madness here, right, guys? But what we saw here, right, is that with this 3-5-2, since we had 2 strikers in Lukaku and Kai, Mount no longer had to be a second striker anymore. So what we saw is that Mount had the freedom to drop between the lines here, and that is how we saw more impetus from these regions of the game.
Kovacic came in as well.
Yeah, so Kovacic was
instead of Kante.
Yeah, instead of Kante, right? And then we saw also Reece James now was keeping the width before. So now we had both. We could have got the switch of play. Sometimes Alsby was even overlapping too. So now we could have had the switch of play from short passes. We had people between the lines, and we had 2 strikers in front. We had the width, and we looked a bit better, but it was a little too late, and we were too defensively vulnerable, because when you have Ziyech as left wing back and Alsby roaming forward, and this was never going to be good news. This was a last minute try. Right.
Correct. I mean, we were 3-1 down at that stage, so
yeah. So let me get back to normality and set back things up so we could go into our attack and talk about individual players, because I mean,
can we talk about Timo Werner first up? Then we'll talk about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. What's there to talk about? Alonso, we all know, but let's start from Timo Werner. He gave us nothing, Ryan. Absolutely nothing. Even when you do the, when you do the setup defensively and offensively, in attack, in defense, everything he did, Ryan, was not of a footballer. Forget about Premier League level or Championship level or any other level. Nothing of that looked like he was a footballer. I mean, surely when you have a player like that, that kind of not only didn't have a right structure to start off the game, but when you have a player that's going to be detrimental to a wrong structure, it's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right, man. You said it right. This isn't about form anymore. This is just ability. Ability. I would say goal scoring could be up to form, but when it comes down to technical ability, that's just the player he is, and that's not. Tuchel tries everything with him, playing him at the wing, playing him as second striker, playing him as striker. Lampard tried nearly everything with him also, and it just isn't working at Chelsea. And you know what? He has scored many goals for different clubs. I hope that one day he could refine that form, but as in Chelsea, I think it's just best if he moves on.
See where you've got him right now in the screen. There were so many times he got the ball in that area. People talk about his pace, his blistering pace. He got bullied at times. He got shoulder barged out, and then he didn't have the quality to get past his man as well. Ball control is shocking. Passing is shocking. I mean, if Pulisic was ready to go, I would have had him. But I knew, even in my preview, I didn't start Pulisic because I knew he wasn't going to play because what Thomas Tuchel said, that he's not ready. But I had a three up front with Ziyech, Mount, and Havertz, with three at the back and wing backs. Would you have gone to this particular match against Brentford with Werner? Would you have done that, right?
I mean, in retrospect, you would always say no. But for Brentford, I think Timo Werner or not, we should be winning this match.
Yeah, that's what
I
said.
And especially with Real Madrid, with Real Madrid around the corner, it mightn't be a bad idea just for getting some players in so that we could rest some players for that match.
Yeah.
So
no, you're right.
In retrospect, it's easier to say, but
that's what I said as well when the lineup was announced to everyone in the live chat, that it's still good enough to beat Brentford. No disrespect to Brentford, like it still should have done the job. Let's talk about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Where are we at with this player? How do you feel about this player, man? A lot of people were asking me in the live chat, Means, what's the future of Ruben Loftus-Cheek? I mean, you showed today in a demonstration that it looks like he was outnumbered, but I don't like him in that position either. I feel like at times where when he receives the ball, he could turn and look to bomb forward. He has the ability. There was one time he did that in the first half, and he pinged a shot with his left foot. He tries to do what Jorginho does, recycle possession, but that's not his game. I feel like he could possibly play with a Jorginho, maybe, him and Jorginho. But I don't know if he can do the Jorginho role. But I feel like why try and emulate that? You could have played the role in your own way.
Why not play Kante there? Like, I know he's not a regista per se, but like against low blocks, you don't need him to be a regista, but you need him for that defensive cover. Loftus-Cheek is more likely to find an assist than Kante. He's more likely to score a goal than Kante. Why play Loftus-Cheek there in this match for when you have Kante? I could understand if you don't have Kante and Kovacic and Jorginho and you need somebody. Another person is Saul. Why not play Saul there?
Let's talk a little bit about this, because you did touch on this offline. And why not Saul, right? Because he's not been that bad recently when he's played for us. And that position, that sort of deep, sort of lying midfielder position, or even someone in the pivot, he's done well. Yeah, most recently in January against Spurs.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think even against Brentford, was it against Brentford in the Carabao Cup where he did well? I mean, why not Saul, man?
And this is the major question, Miss Thomas Tuchel. For past couple of months, I know we've had bad fortune with injuries, this and that, but at the end of the day, I still feel Chelsea at this point could be doing much better. as a team.
I feel as well.
I feel as if we have no plan. I feel as if every match we are changing formations. We're not building upon performances tactically, or players aren't getting a chance to improve on their position because every match they're different positions. I feel that we don't have a style of play. We're not a possession-based team. One day we will counter attack, one day we're possession-based. I feel as if I understand that we may not have the personnel to make this system work, but we do have the personnel to make other systems work. But there's been a reluctance to try those systems. For example, our team is tailor-made for 4-2-3-1. Why not try it? I mean, when you have Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, those players are perfect for a midfield pivot. You have Havertz, right? He's a perfect attacking midfielder. Say what about striker or whatever. In a 4-2-3-1, you have wide wingers. We have perfect players in Ziyech, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, those guys. And as a striker, I know people wouldn't like to hear this, but at the end of the day, if you have that extra number up front, right? Not in a 3-5-2, but an extra number up front in a 4-2-3-1. If you could implement Lukaku as that Lewandowski role and have players always around them at the edge of the box, pretend Kai is Lukaku here, always have players on the edge of the box around him. Do you know, at the end of the day, Lukaku is still a world-class striker and a world-class goal scorer. But I feel as if we haven't been using him good at all, and we've just given up completely on him. Yes, Kai has been doing good as a striker, but in the long term, Kai is just not a clinical goal scorer who's going to score you 30 goals a season. He's not going to score you 30 goals a season. Yes, he can do really good at false nine, but he can do that same false nine role as an attacking midfielder. He can always be that.
Correct. If anything, he probably belongs where Kante and Mount belongs in that screen.
And he could be like that Thomas Müller like player who can play as a. I'm talking about 4-2-3-1, like what Nagelsmann and Hansi Flick played, right? But he could play that Müller role where he could go anywhere, deep midfield. He can go in behind. He could be striker, and he could play around Lukaku. I feel as we have a team tailor-made for 4-2-3-1 right now, but we don't play it. Even for 4-1-3. A 4-1-4-1 what we played today, we have better personnel who could fit those slots, Instead of having Kante there, we could have had, Kovacic there, we could have Jorginho and CDM. We could have had
Kovacic starting.
So we have players, but what I'm saying is that we don't have. I understand that formations could change game by game because of the numbers, right? But the thing is, when Guardiola and these guys change formations, right? They don't change their formation on paper. They change it during the game because they could read the game properly to know when they might need a midfield 3, when they might need a midfield 2, when they might need a back 3, when they might need a back 2, right? They're smart enough to know within that 4-3-3, they could change shape. But they keep the same principles. They have certain principles in possession-based football and how they attack in the final third and the numbers they have in and around on the edge of the box. They have a principle. And for the past 6 to 7 months, I have no idea what principles Thomas Tuchel is driving home in these guys. And that's a problem because we can make excuses. We all love them. But at the end of the day, in the past 8 months, Chelsea have not improved as a team. Ever since Chilwell got injured against Juventus, we have not made one step forward. And that is a big problem because at the end of the day, this Chelsea team still costs hundreds of millions of dollars, and we should be playing way better football under Thomas Tuchel.
We should.
And the thing is, Thomas Tuchel is capable of playing this football because he has managed teams in the past that has played this type of football. That begs the question to me, is there some type of mental thing with Thomas Tuchel that he isn't willing to release those breaks at Chelsea? And even for managers coming in, they see Chelsea as a defensive team. If Thomas Tuchel goes Barcelona, he'll never play a 5-3-2 because he knows that at Barcelona they play possession-based attacking football. If he goes at Bayern Munich, he will never go and play defensive football like that. But when managers come at Chelsea, they know Chelsea to be known as a defensive team. So they are willing to fit into that mold. They're willing to go into that shell. And that, I think we suffer from that. And the only manager who really tried to change that was Sarri. But we didn't have the patience with him. Well, he left on his own accord too, but still. And well, Lampard tried to change it, but he didn't. Okay, the next topic. Okay.
Let's not talk about it.
But yeah, do you agree with me with the criticisms I have of Thomas Tuchel? Because nobody seems to be asking questions of him.
No. I think few people have now. Look, no one's Thomas Tuchel out. He's still the main person. Like that notion of him being let go of, like, that's BS. But I think a lot of people are starting to ask the question what you've just said. It's a bit strange since Chilwell has been injured, and I've been asking that as well. I'm a bit disappointed that he's not found a way to play without Chilwell. And the reason why I started when we started talking about the attacking flaws, we don't have an attacking identity. We keep getting these jammy victories. Hakim Ziyech finish, Kai Havertz finish. Really, some moments, an absolute moment sort of situation. The last time I remember we had a very good game was against Lille first leg. I thought that was a good game, but they came at us. We were very good in breaking their press and then countering them. We defended well. And I thought that game was a good standout game. But besides that, it's been just grinding wins. We're just grinding wins. And I guess, look, maybe
but it's some odd choices he's making. Why is Kante playing here for? Why is Ziyech a wing back? We have our two fit fullbacks? Why is Ziyech playing as a wing back when we have two fit fullbacks? These are the things I don't understand, you know.
I wanted Reece James to start. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, that means he just came back from injury. Let's have him raring to go against Real Madrid." What do you mean raring to go? You're fit. You're ready to go. Let's go now. We don't have too much time for the season anymore. There's literally like about 8 games to play in the Premier League. There's a handful of games, or there's one FA Cup if we go to the final. There's another one in Champions League, only a handful of games left. That's if we continue on.
But
my man plays.
Even I'm okay with the 5-3-2 or 5, whatever you want to call it, 5 at the back for competition for trophy, like cup football, right? Like UCL and FA Cup. That wins you games when the game is open.
Knockout football, basically, yeah.
Yeah, that wins you games, right? But the thing is, when you play, I feel like players like Havertz and Ziyech, I don't feel for Kai yet because he's so young. I feel like a player like Ziyech is being completely wasted in his prime. I feel that in a different team, he could be one of the best.
What do you think he was linked with? What do you think he was linked with Barcelona, bro, in the summer?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think he was even linked with Dortmund at one stage. He was linked with AC Milan.
I would say Miz, though. I mean, Ziyech is really good, this and that. But this is our next problem I want to talk about with our attack, just for 1 minute. But the reason why that I said, and you realize that we had 2 runners here, right? In our little triangle, right? But normally in football, like for good teams, right? Like Bayern and Man City and Barcelona.
Teams that actually play good attacking football.
Yeah. They don't have 2 runners here. The reason why we have 2 runners because none of our attackers could go 1v1. That's why.
Yeah.
Werner can go 1v1, Kante can go 1v1, Ziyech can go 1v1, Mount can go 1v1.
Mount can go 1v1.
Yeah. Hudson-Odoi doesn't do it anymore. Pulisic does it good only quarter of the times.
Yeah. We don't have an Osman Dembele.
Whereas when you have a player like Koeman or Sane or Dembele, you don't need to have 2 runners. You can actually we can have players like fit in here when in that final in between the lines when you have one runner going 1v1, because that allows you to get more players in different positions in the final third. But instead, we have players who can't do that, so we need to bring all our attackers in this one little zone so we could get the ball through it. Because we had a bunch of kindergarten players playing kindergarten kiddie ball. Right?
See where you have Werner with the ball? I saw a plethora of scenarios in yesterday's game where he was in that position where you got him now with the ball and the defender. And I was like, come on, bro, use that pace. But the man doesn't have the quality to run with the ball. That's the thing. He may have pace, but he doesn't have the quality.
Kiddie footballers, because you know what? Dembele is one of the most injury-prone players ever. But you know what? He comes on and plays football like it's his last game ever. He plays football with no fear. He takes on players. He goes at them.
Well, you saw what he did to Real Madrid that game. Oh.
Yeah, we were happy. We were smiling. We won more than like this.
We're going to be doing the Barcelona. Yeah, exactly. We're going to do the Barcelona.
If you all want to see us happy, join Barcelona versus Sevilla. We'll be happy, smiling, talking.
I think Valencia, isn't it? Barcelona versus Valencia?
No, it's Sevilla.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's third versus second place. Hopefully we will get to second place.
But what do you mean we? Well,
I mean Barcelona. Hopefully Barcelona get to second place. And yeah. But yeah, Miz. I mean, these are just the issues that. But Miz, I'm telling you, I'll come on here next weekend and say the same thing.
It'll be the same thing. You think this is the first time you're saying this? I honestly, live chat, because we're obviously premiering this. Look back some of our previous recent tactical videos, Ryan and I. It's in repeat. Ryan has said this almost every single video, and it's mad. It's mad, but it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know your thoughts on our. Look, defending, I'm not too worried about. I think we'll get that sorted. Attacking wise, we have massive concern, as Ryan said. We've not looked good for like the last 8 months, to be honest. And ever since Chilwell got injured, we don't seem to have, adapted. We don't seem to have adapted to a style of football that we can build on. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Ryan, as we said, we're going to be here doing the watch-along for Barcelona versus Sevilla. So do look out for that, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a very good game, at least proper passing game. Will be very interesting to see that. We've got Real Madrid coming up, Ryan, before I let you go.
I mean, guys.
How you feeling, bro?
Oh, no. Well, competition football, I feel like we could take anybody except except Bayern Munich probably, but
Man City
we could take.
Well, I think.
Man City and Liverpool. Oh my God! Well, we can't take anybody, but I think we could probably take Real Madrid. I'm not taking a Clasico to heart. They're still a really good team, but in competition football, I think that if we get our tactics right and we put away our chances, we could make it through. But we'll talk about that closer to the game. Hopefully, we have some match previews coming out. Hopefully, we have some plans coming out. But a big game, and hopefully Chelsea doesn't really lose twice or play horrible twice in a row. So hopefully we have a big game on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we get our competition hat back on and get back to basics and put Real Madrid away, and then we'll see what happens after that. Hopefully from there we can build some sort of momentum. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Check out Ryan and his socials in the description. Please follow my man on Twitter. He's doing a whole heap of public, articles for different publications. Make sure you follow him. And we've got a lot of things planned. Ryan and I, we're going to do some madness very, very soon. So do look out for that. Until next time, everyone, take care. And see ya.